Jolan True viewers, welcome to Housecoat Podcasting. I am Takeshi Yamato. Joining our hosts, the Housecoat Gamer,
Yo.
and our friend 117 Jorn.
Starship
He doesn't
Complete.
seem to be feeling very good.
Yeah.
Starship Complete. Proceeding with ship construction.
Well, today we start with the final era for the Romulans.
Starship Complete.
Their final shining
Proceeding
glory.
with ship construction.
Yes, the TNG era.
Shortly before the Hobus supernova, the Romulan Star Empire was considered, well, one of the two great powers of the quadrant, the other being the Federation.
Yeah.
And what was their capital ship but the mighty B-type warbird, the Dideritics class?
Yes. This was TNG's great Romulan icon. If you thought of the three factions in Star Trek, three main factions in Star Trek in the 24th century, the Federation, Klingons, and the Romulans, they each had their own iconic starship, just like in TOS. In TOS, it was the Connie, the D7, and the Talis, respectively. In TNG, Starfleet had three: the Galaxy, the Defiant, and the Voyager, and the Intrepid. The Klingons had the Vorcha, and the Romulans had this thing. And back. Yep. Almost all Romulan ships in this era have in the original series era, the Romulan ships had birds painted on them. In TNG era,
they went full on not to.
Yeah, they're avian in design. And this thing is twice the size of a Galaxy-class starship.
At least in length.
Yeah.
Not so sure in mass.
Yeah, but it's twice as long, probably twice as wide. And I'm not sure about height. But yeah, this thing is big.
It is also equipped with
Your will.
A cloaking device.
not as effective here due to, well, engine limitations. It's homeworld.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the first Romulan warship we saw. The other, very similar in design.
Yes, this is the Talon class. This is basically just a little shuttle scout ship, whatever. And basically, this thing was this is basically if the Romulans wanted to do recon, but with a small team, they used one of these. I think one of these was also used to test the Romulans' phasing cloak in that one episode. The one where
the model was modified. The ship was actually quite a bit larger.
Ah, fair enough. But
when you
yeah.
don't have enough stuff.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, we may as well get into this.
Yeah. This is
unlike every other faction in the series, we never really got to see a Romulan fighter. And
yeah.
Starship Complete.
This is arguably the smallest craft in the game, other than the dilithium miner.
Starship Complete.
Yeah, this
Proceeding
is the
with
Stalker.
ship construction.
And
Starship Complete.
Unfortunately, Ron looked.
Proceeding
He could not find any he could not find any official alpha or beta material on this thing. This, unfortunately, is a gamma cannon design, aka it's a fan work.
It doesn't even fit the design, and while it somewhat fits the design language, every Romulan ship is equipped with effectively a black hole as its power source.
Yeah. And this thing...
They have to be actually rather sizable for that.
Yeah.
This would be too small. And the attack bomber, whatever the hell one of those is.
My crew is ready.
Predator, I think.
Yeah. You can...
Yeah.
Now, rule of cool might be a great thing and all, but it has to fit. It has to work. And this, unfortunately, does not work.
Yeah.
Looks like the Klingons are at it again.
What is the request?
Anyway,
there aren't too many alpha cannon designs in, well, period. Most of them actually come from Star Trek Armada.
Yeah, there is one other alpha design for the Romulans.
Well, we're gonna go by size. This is the Shrike. Essentially a Talon
Complete.
Yeah.
Sneaky boat.
Yeah, it's, I call it Trike because that's what it looks like. Shrike. Trike.
My life for the Empire.
This is the Tavaro.
Technically, this is an Enterprise boat, but,
there was a but it shows up in the TNG era as well, in beta at least. Or at least a modern version of it.
In fact, that's kind of what I outright described this thing as.
Yeah. So basically, we're covering the Enterprise era with this as well, because that's the only Romulan boat in the 22nd century we know of.
Yeah, when we get to Enterprise, it's gonna get weird. Because FASA.
We lie in the shadows.
This is supposedly a Marine frigate. And while it certainly fits the design language, Activision actually knew what the hell they were doing back then.
Yeah.
I am yours to command.
There's no information on them other than their general role.
Yeah, this is the Griffin.
Yeah, bread and butter cruiser.
How may I serve?
Had a sensor jammer ability in Armada.
Marine frigate from Armada 2.
Yeah.
Your will.
Artillery vessel.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool, actually. They just fire this big projectile long distances and it causes AoE damage.
Starship
Federation
Complete.
Steamrunner did the same thing.
Yeah, that was actually described as being stolen from
have the
them.
superior firepower.
Yeah.
And
Starship
here's
Complete.
Jorn's favorite boat, because it's a carrier.
Proceeding with ship construction.
Yep. The Z2. Nova Z2.
Proceeding
Yeah,
with
basically
ship
just a-
construction.
modernized refit.
Yep. Are you there, Jorn, or are you...
I think he
Dealing
might be
with-
busy with something else. I'm not
How
entirely
may I
sure.
serve?
Yeah. And here we have the Norexan, or Mogai, or whatever you want to call it. This was the IRW Valdor in Star Trek Nemesis.
As well as
This-
a sister ship, which is presumably roughly the original ship.
Yeah. But yeah, this is basically a more modern. This is basically it was basically the newest Romulan design as of Nemesis.
Right up until the 2 warbirds for Picard, which, again, they still fit the design language.
Yeah.
And if the boats are harmless.
Yeah.
And considering when it was made, it's a Dominion War-era boat.
Yep. Or at least that's when development was made. Some canons that I've seen, some things that I've seen about it say that it was made during the Dominion War, but was launched after. Some say that it was
My crew is ready.
launched in the final
the
months of the war. I'm not sure which theory is the correct one, but those are the 2 main ones.
We are ready.
There's not even a...
Oh, is that the Phoenix?
Yep.
Yeah. The Phoenix. This is basically the Romulan. I actually came up with designs for this for an NPC starship in Star Trek Adventures, and I came up with lore for the Phoenix. Let me call that up and I'll read it again. Let's see, Phoenix class last resort weapon. The Phoenix class is one of the Romulan Star Empire's best kept secrets.
Patient Centurion.
A ship designed in special shipyards in orbit of Romulus, one which they hope never to use. Should the Star Empire ever fall, these ships would be deployed in a final act to deal as much damage as possible to the conquering force. The Phoenix has no active weapon systems. Instead, its only weapon is a modified singularity reactor in the center of the ship, which also powers its drive systems. When its primary activation sequence is activated, the reactor overloads in such a way as to tear open a massive rift in space-time. The rift lasts for only a few moments, but any ships caught in the rift are utterly decimated. This uses up all power in the Phoenix's capacitors, and the ship is destroyed by being unable to escape the activation of its own weapon. As such, the ship has a skeleton crew with no escape systems, and any crew members selected are specially conditioned by the Tal Shiar to be fanatically loyal to the Star Empire, even to the point of death. And you have to admit it makes sense.
Starship complete.
They've done it before. Jordy LaForge. I'm pretty sure plenty of other agents.
Proceeding with ship construction. Starship complete.
And it also makes sense that they would.
Proceeding with
And
ship
it also makes
construction.
sense that they would have something like that. Just something to hold in reserve as a final FU to anyone who conquered them.
Tell that to the Iconians.
Yeah. Yeah, and I figured with the destruction of Romulus, any shipyards that were used to develop the Phoenix class were probably destroyed with the planet. Meaning,
My crew is
the
ready.
Phoenix class probably did not go into the Star Empire, into the STO era.
along with a lot of other ships. Every single ship you see here probably was never used by the Republic or the Romulan Free State, as seen in Picard.
Yeah.
They instead used other warbirds, named Daikana class in STO. But I suppose this means we have to swap over to STO because...
Your will.
Well...
We've gone over all the boats in this mod.
Which unfortunately means... we're gonna have to switch games.
Yep. If we can throw these things against one of the Klingon groups before we do that, if you want to do that, Ron.
Easily done. Time to see the might of the Romulan Star Empire, or lack thereof.
Yeah.
See, I have no love for the Romulans.
Red alert!
Right.
And
Leave
for good
nothing
reason.
remaining.
Yeah. They are very... Yeah, they...
Disable their shields.
One of Ron's common phrases is never trust Ron. And it's not...
It's racist is what it is.
Well, how many of them can you trust?
Pretty much everyone put our mom in a republic for one.
Yeah, well... if they're from the Star Empire, and most of them are, they're normally going to be trying to screw you over. For no other reason than the loans.
Yeah.
Because some of their plots just don't make any sense.
That is fair enough. I figure...
After all, stability would be something welcomed, wouldn't it? And if the Federation literally has no reason to try and fight the Star Empire. They don't fight unless they have to.
Yeah.
So why would a bunch of pacifists be something of a threat? The answer? Oh, that's gonna hurt.
The answer is because... I assume the answer is because it's a threat to their way of life, because... or... maybe not way of life, but... well, in one...
We've taken the last of the dilithium from this sector.
One thing that could be a threat is
My crew
one
is
of the
ready.
members of Starfleet, the Vulcans.
Yeah, historically they haven't exactly gotten along.
Yeah.
Hold
For
this
those
position.
who don't know this, fun
What is the
fact:
request?
the Romulans were
Warbird
once the Romulans are a Vulcan offshoot. Way back in Vulcan history, they weren't the logic loving. They weren't the logic obsessed sticks in the mud that we know and love. For various definitions of love.
The ones we know.
Yeah.
They were passionate, violent, and... well... violent.
Yeah.
So much so that even modern Vulcans go, we feel more than you do, we just keep it really suppressed.
Yeah. And for good reason.
Just look at the Romulans.
Yeah.
They
The Romulans
are Vulcans.
Yeah, the Romulans did not... Romulans started off as a group that called themselves those who walk beneath the Raptor's wings. Romulans. And when Surak proposed his ideals of logic, those who walked beneath the Raptor's wings, or the Rihansu, they didn't accept it.
What is it?
And they left. And after a long and harrowing exodus, they finally found the worlds of Romulus and Remus. Well, that's our designations for them. The Romulan names would be Rihan, and I don't know what they call Remus, but Romulus was Rihan. Some other variant to that name. I mean,
Yeah, Dwayne Duan, her influence on the Romulan thing has been extreme, to the point where, yes, STE even used it. I'm not a fan of the Navarre thing, and I never will be, but there it is.
Yeah, but yeah, New Romulus in STO is called Old Rihan in Romulan, so it makes sense that the original Romulus was just Rihan.
Well, as soon as that ship explodes, which won't take very long.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom, boom, boom. I can't stop singing this bloody tune. It makes my brain go boom, boom, boom. Die already.
No, you do me wrong, I guess, like boom, 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 boom. I want this ship to go boom and fly to space forever, for now until forever. Boom, 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 boom.
Twofer! Which means jump cut.
Welcome to Star Trek Online, viewers. And before we get into the big ships again, we start with the Romulan shuttle. Romulan small craft. First up is the Tearsol shuttle.
I'm pretty sure this is actually a cryptic design, but it is a very logical one. After all, yeah. You can guess. The Kestrel Runabout. As seen.
Jorn, we are live!
Oh shit!
Anyway, this is the Kestrel Runabout. A slightly longer version of the Tearsol. And that front viewport.
It's why I keep saying it.
The Romulans. This is the Mando shuttle, basically. Because look at that front view, viewers. That screams Mando helmet. And here we have, and next up, we have the Scorpion, called a fighter in STO. In Star Trek Nemesis, however, Data officially called it a Scorpion-class attack flyer.
Which is a fancy way of saying fighter.
It can be argued, however, that this is cannon fodder. That it has no shields. That it basically just runs off a standard fusion reactor and doesn't have an FTL drive.
Yeah.
It's literally a cannon fodder boat.
It's supposed to be used for patrol. It's probably a craft that's used for doing short-range patrols, short-range defenses, for against smaller enemy starships, and also probably for supporting ground operations, but providing close air support.
Which would be the only time fighter would actually be applicable.
Which makes it a multi-role support aircraft, basically. Otherwise, a fighter bomber.
Fair enough. Don't want to get bogged down by semantics. We've covered it. Let's move on.
Which brings us to the more controversial one. Either you love it or you hate it. Stupid bloody.
Yep, drop everything aside from warbird. The scimitar. Technically, this is a Romulan-built ship, but it's used by the Romulans, so suppose technically it would count. Oh, Jorn's starting up his own stream?
I'm not entirely sure what's going on there.
I just did that for the lulz.
Right.
Regardless, I go by definitions of the designation system. And a ground support. Craft is technically an attacker.
Yep. Don't start, Jorn. Take it up with the official designators. Don't take it up with Ron. Ron is just using their stuff. Anyway, the scimitar is, well, it is basically the biggest Romulan Romulan starship ever.
Armed with 52 disruptor banks, 27 photon torpedo launchers,
Primary and secondary shields.
and a Talon weapon system.
Yeah. Basically, it's built into the entirety of the ship. This ship is basically is basically a giant weapon of mass destruction. Selective mass destruction, because Talon radiation destroys all organic matter. Just organic matter.
Shinzon was planning on using this on Earth.
Alright, I'm back.
The Enterprise E, the Nerexian, and the Valdor, presumably IRW Nerexian, attacked this thing and, well, Troy is infamous for crashing the Enterprise into things.
Yeah. She did it into that one. She did it into that thing, definitely.
And then Data sacrificed himself. I mean, he tried backing himself up into B4, but that's like trying to back up Windows 10 information onto a Windows 95 computer.
Yeah.
Can't blame him for trying, but you also can't say he succeeded.
Yeah. At the very least, they might be able to access the data he collected over his life, but that's just...
You've said it. I cannot believe you said that.
Yeah. Right. But, yeah, they might be able to access all his memories and all the information contained within them. That's all it is. Information.
He died when he blew this thing up.
Yeah.
But that's TNG. It's time to go back to the past.
Yeah.
To Enterprise.
It's been a long walk,
Oh, God.
getting from there to here.